Welcome everyone to week 1 of the 21-day challenge. This will be your flow for week 1 that you're going to be doing days 1, 3, and 5. So to begin, we're going to start standing. So I want you to stand somewhere where you have on your mat or on a flat surface. Take a few deep breaths, center yourself. I want those feet in line with those hips, so about hip width distance apart. Feel all your toes on the floor. You can even kind of lift them up and move them around a little bit. And to start, we're just going to do a couple, essentially almost like a calf raise, but like a heel lift. So you have your hands on your hips, prayer position, by your side, whatever kind of works. But you're just going to come up to your toes and then back down to your heels. Really just working on balance, waking up all of those little bones and muscles in our feet, which are the essential building blocks for the rest of our body and what we're doing. This is kind of like our modification for footwork you would do on a reformer, but we're in parallel right now, just coming up to all toes. Notice if you're more on the inside or outside. Give me about 2 more of these. And if this is too much, you can also stand by a wall, lightly hold on for balance if you need that extra support. You're still going to get the same work. Now, from here, I want you to put your heels together, toes apart, almost like if there's like a small pizza slice or a fist in between your toes, the Pilates V. We're going to do the same thing. Come up on those toes, come back down. Come up and back down. And again, you can also, use the wall if you need that extra support. Hands could be prayer, kind of actively pushing together. Maybe 3 more here. Really just waking up our whole body. Core should be engaged, feeling tall and long out of the crown of your head. And from here, we're going to keep that same external rotation, but we're going to come out to almost like your sumo squat, so farther than hip width. And we're just going to come up and down, up and down. Again, core should be turned on. Everything should be tucked in. Imagine I'm pulling you from your ponytail, the top of your head. 2 more. And on this one, now we're going to do some internal rotation. So you could bring your legs in a little bit more, but we're going to point the toes facing in. It's going to feel a little awkward. Trust me, though, it's good for you. It's not going to hurt you. Coming up to those toes and down. For 5. And really turning from the top of the hips to turn inward. 2 and 1. Perfect. Turn back to parallel. So toes pointed forward, heels pointing back, facing the front of the room. Hands come up overhead. Slowly nod your chin and start to roll down 1 vertebra at a time. Hang here, just get a nice stretch in the back of those legs. Kind of rock side to side. Try to touch the floor with a little knee bend and straighten. And then meet me down on your mat. I'm just going to turn this so that the rest of the time you can mat. And we're just going to warm up, taking a few deep breaths and getting familiar with what's going on with our spine, our pelvis, all of that. So feet should be planted firmly into the floor with your knees bent, arms down by your side, neck is long, gaze is looking up. And just take a breath here. Inhale through that nose and exhale through your mouth. Now as you inhale, I want you to imagine you have a cup of water here on your pelvis and you're tilting it forward. So you're spilling the water, making that arch in your back more pronounced. And as you exhale, bring it back into the mat, imprinting your spine all the way where every vertebra is touching the mat all the way to the ground. So inhale, spill the water. Exhale. You could always imagine a little egg is under your lower back. You're squishing that egg. Give me a few more of these, just like pelvic tilts, as you're noticing what it is to tilt and to curl. And then I want you to land somewhere in the middle. Whatever your natural curve of your spine is, that how much space you're going to have under, but almost like a little piece of paper or your hand can fit, but you're not curling and you're not tilting. So you're just kind of in a neutral spine position. This is an important position for Pilates you're going to want to pay a lot of attention to. And then from here, we're going to put our right arm up towards the sky, left leg into tabletop. So imagine there's a glass of water on my shin. It's parallel to the floor. It's not going to spill. And as we go, we're going to extend our arm, arc it backward overhead, and our toe dips down. And we come back up to 90. Now, as we're making this motion, we don't want that neutral spine to go away. So if you notice your ribs are starting to flare, you're starting to spill the water, so to speak, you're going too far. So you might not touch the ground with your toe or your thumb, and that's okay. But we just want to do this nice arc motion. You don't want to be wobbling from side to side. Really just opening up some mobility in the shoulders and from our hips. Core is also working. Give me 2 more. Perfect. And bring it all down. Now we're going to lift our right leg into tabletop, left arm up towards the sky. Thumb goes back towards the floor, toe arcs down. It's really just a motion right out of the hip. Nothing changing the shape of the leg. It's just arcing down. And again, your range of motion might look bigger than mine or smaller than mine, just depending where you can keep that neutral spine while still engaging in this exercise. Remember to breathe. Give me 2 more. Amazing. Now put everything down. We're going to do some chest curls. One thing I like to do just to introduce what a chest curl really feels like, where you're not cranking your neck. This mat's really big, but if you grab the corners of your mat and you just start to lift up, do you feel that motion? My neck comes up because it has to, but this is really coming from my core, and then my upper spine is curving and the gaze follows. So you can keep doing this with the mat if that feels helpful. If you feel pretty confident, I want you to basket weave your fingers behind the base of your skull, almost pull up and out. And again, we're coming up from our core and our spine, not our neck. Our neck follows because it has to. Elbows wide. Coming up to the tip of those shoulder blades. For 3. For 2. If this feels good, keep doing this. If you want to add on, pop those legs into tabletop. My left elbow, not my left elbow is going to, or my left armpit, not my elbow, that's what I was trying to say, is going to come towards my right knee as I have a nice twist in the thoracic spine. Left leg goes long, come back to center, stay up though. Armpit to knee is what you're imagining. Right arm, left knee, and through center, and twist. And we say armpit because we want to keep those elbows wide. So it's really all just like the trunk is twisting. It's not as much about the arms. They're doing it. They're moving because they have to. For 4. 3. Again, if this is too much, you can always just put those feet down and do the twist without the legs in the sky, or you could just keep doing the normal curls. And 1. Amazing. Now from here, I'm going to rock up to seated, and we are going to sit tall on our sit bones. So those bony parts of your butt want to be firmly pushing into the mat. Legs are long and as straight as you can get them. Crown of the head towards the ceiling. Arms at shoulder length out. And then I want you to imagine I almost have a string right where that your bra line is, pulling you backwards. And as I do, you're going to round forward like there's a giant beach ball here. I'm pulling you from your bra line and I'm pulling you from your head. So arms are reaching towards the toes. You have like a nice C curve, hollowed out. Take a deep breath, then stack back up to seated. From here, you can put your arms with your fingers pointing out towards the sides or towards the front of the room. In one long line, you're going to push yourself up. Keep your neck in line. Don't let it hang backwards. It should be gazing towards the front of the room. Hold for 1, sit down, and then give me that spine stretch again. So energy from the head and the back pulling in opposition. Feel that nice stretch on the legs. Stack back up to seated. Arms go right under those shoulders. Lift yourself up and down. Flow through this for 3 more. Really feeling that stretch and then the strength. Make sure you get that tall spine. And 2 more. Feet are really active. They should be flexed, toes pointing up towards your ceiling. Come back at your nose. Give me 1 more. Perfect. And come back down. From here, I want you to cross your legs. We're going to get onto all fours. So your hands should be directly under those shoulders, knees directly under those hips. I want you to make sure you are pushing up and away out of, so you're not sinking in, right? We don't want this arc. We want to be pushing up and out of those shoulders, so you have a strong base. Toes are curled under, and I want you just to hover your knees a few inches off the ground for a count of 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to stand up, push those hips up and back into like your downward dog, pike, and then come back into your hover. 1, 2, 3. Up and back. Your ears should be in between your arms. Heels could be down on the mat if you're able. Come back to that hover. Again, are you pushing up and out so you're not letting yourself sag in? Come back into your pike downward dog. Give me 4 more of these. Flow at your own pace. You're doing great. Again, feel that nice stretch. When you're in your quadruped, remember your gaze is a few inches ahead. And when you're here, you should be looking straight at your thighs or your knees with your ears between your arms. Last one. Come up to this pike. Amazing. Let your knees come down on the mat, and you're going to meet me on your stomach. So I want you to lay down and imagine your hip bones are nailed into the mat. So they are secure and firmly pointed down. Your legs are also really active. They're heavy. Tops of your feet are pushing into the mat. Your nose is lightly touching the mat. Arms are down by your side. Inhale to prepare. On your exhale, it's a very small movement. We're just going to imagine I'm pulling you from here. So it's a slight extension. Your gaze just comes forward a few inches to the edge of your mat. Your arms are lightly hovering. And we lower it all down. Nothing in my lower body is moving. It's very heavy. So gaze comes up a few inches forward, but still down on the mat. You should not be looking out straight ahead of you. Arms are slightly hovered, and nose lightly touches the mat. Give me about 4 more of these. You should not be feeling this in your lower back. If you are, and you're cranking up too much, or there's not enough weight in the lower, you can even open your legs a little further and point them out. If you are feeling some pain, that can help, but you shouldn't be. This is just a nice little baby extension. Again, shoulders are down and back. And give me 1 more. Perfect. From here, you can push yourself up to seated. We're going to have our right shin almost parallel with the front of the mat, and your left leg is like in a little Z-shaped back. If this position is not possible or uncomfortable, you can do this sitting on a chair. You can also cross your legs or even have them straight out. But for the sake of, if you are able to do it full out, parallel to the front, left leg is back, right hand is lightly pushing on the mat, just like your fingertips. You're gonna put your left arm out straight. Inhale and exhale. Almost imagine we're arcing over something. So we're not leaning in, right? It's a nice up arc and over. And then we're going to counter stretch the other side. You also want to make sure both your sit bones are down on the mat. We don't really want one up. So do your best. Maybe this knee is much higher to get you down, but you want to make sure both are down on the mat. Arcing up and over. And reverse on the other side. Counter stretch. Again, up and over, really hollowing out that side body, getting that extension. On the other side. And on this one, go up and over, and then you're going to rotate, bring that left arm to the mat as well. The back hip can come off, and you can kind of give a nice little rotation. Rotate back out to your side, come up. Last counter stretch on this way. Do the other side. So left shin forward, right leg Z sit back, left arm down on the mat, thinking up and over. It's a smaller move. Counter stretch on this side. Up and over. Counter stretch. 2 more. The last one will be with that rotation. Doing great. We're almost there. So this time, right arm comes to mat, left arm. We're just going to rotate over. Come back to your side bend. Giving that last counter stretch. Cross those legs, hand in front of your chest. Give me one deep breath in. Thank yourself for being here. Exhale as you leave everything behind you don't need to take with you for the rest of the day. And I'm so proud of you, and I'll see you soon.